Hi, Ulrika Centurion here. Um, I wasn't even gonna sure if I was gonna do this or not, but there's a lot going on in my kid's life that me as a mama bear, want to protect them from. And unfortunately, it's a system. It's not per se people. It's more like a view. And as many people know, I live in Spain. I love the Spanish people. It's just that they have had a rule from a fascist, and I think still going through this transition of making things better, or at least listening to everyone. But it's going so slow in the schools, and unfortunately, my kids are the ones that suffer for it because they're foreign kids. We speak two languages at home, and it's very important for me that they do speak them two languages, because I don't know where they want to live when they get older. Maybe they want to move back to Sweden, maybe they want to go to England. I mean, I don't know, but what I want to do is maximize their change, their go blank here, their opportunities to do that if they want to, and even learn more languages. It'd be easier for them. But I've been to and from the school a lot these few years. I mean, everybody know that I went back to Sweden during COVID. I didn't agree on their forcing masks and things like that, and I chose what was best for the kids. But as they obviously were away for a little while, coming back wasn't easy either for them because they had missed that Spanish. Things will always work out. A lot of people seem to forget that you can always learn something afterhand. I did. I went back to school after in my 20s. It's never too late to learn, and the fear mongering put on to kids here is just ridiculous. And I see these kids, with anxieties and fears, and even maybe even I sometimes have put it on my kids because of the school, because I keep on going there, and talking to them. And it's that word complacency. It's just like, oh, it's always been like this, or oh, we're trying to do changes. I know the EU is onto the school system here because they have got so many dropouts. It's just not fun. Spanish school is not fun. It might be fun when they're little, but as soon as they start primaria, it's not fun anymore. It starts getting really, really hard, and if they have friends, then it makes it a lot easier. If they have a good teacher, then it's better. But it's about how they learn. It's just I've worked with kids that had learning difficulties in Sweden. I've also started to become a teaching assistant in Northern Ireland, Belfast. I've seen kind of how different countries do their education when it comes to kids. And Spain is by far like it's the worst that I've seen. And it's not because it doesn't have teachers and that love the kids and want to learn. That is not the issue. The system is broke. It's like polishing a turd, to be honest. And I just wanted to give a little bit a history on how Franco used to use the school system as as a propaganda tool. So I went into ChatGPT, and I just asked him kind of like how Franco did use the school. And it was a few points here. So ideological indoctrination. So education was used as a tool of propaganda. I mean, we know this, and I'm going to get to a point a little bit further down here when you listen to it. Schools were required to teach the values of nationalism, Catholicism, anti-communism, and loyalty to Franco, as you would, I'm sure it was the same in Germany, in Italy, anywhere else where this is going on today. And then you have 2, dominance of Catholic Church. For some reason, they were great friends. So the Catholic Church did all the education in Spain during his reign. 3, censorship and repression. All textbook had to be approved by the state, with any liberal, regionalist, democratic content removed. Again, this is like stuff that it's still going on today. Maybe not just in Spain, maybe in other countries. 4, gender segregation and roles, so they separated, but the Catholic Church has been doing that. 5, lack of innovation and modernization, so they kept them stupid in a way, which is really frightening just on its own. So I asked, what has changed and what hasn't changed? This is when we get to, the nitty-gritty of it, like has anything even changed? We have democratization of education. The education system is now secular, democratic, and based on students' rights and inclusion. Which I would like to say that it's nice that that's on paper, but that's not what I see in the school. Not in all schools. Curriculum reforms have added critical thinking, civic values, and multiculturalism. Yes, they work very hard against that. I have seen that in the schools. So that's very, I'm quite happy to hear that. End of church control. Even though the state is still funding Catholic churches, just like I guess in Sweden with the Swedish church. So you can still send your kids to Catholic school here and it doesn't cost anything. They're usually smaller as well, so it can be a good thing since it's not the priests and the nuns that are teaching education. Use of regional languages. So Catalan, Basque, Galicia are allowed to use their own, if even mandatory now, which is good. You live in the area. I'm a firm believer of languages. I hope that we're not all gonna have just one language in the end, but it looks like that. Gender equality. So obviously boys and girls goes to same school now. Improved access. So it's free. I know that in some regions you have to pay for your books. Then what has not fully changed? This is the thing that I have a massive issue with, and my kids are suffering for it, and it's and I'm constantly in there having conversations with them, but then we go back to the word complacency. They can't do anything. But if they can't change it from the inside, and us as parents, especially a foreigner, can't change it from the outside, how are we going to be able to change this? So the first one, persistent ideology battles. So education is still highly politicized. Each time the government changes left or right, the curriculum is rewritten, leading to instability and frustration for teachers, which I totally understand that the teachers are having such a hard job with them changing their curriculum all the time. History education still contested. Some say the legacy of Franco is sanitized and skipped entirely, while others think it's too harsh. It's this again, which side of the history do you stand on? Did you like him? Didn't you like him? How do we teach our kids the real history without taking any sides, but without glorifying or condemning? Because we do have to realize there was a lot of people that thought this time was a very good time, and it probably was for them, but it wasn't for others. So the state funds private Catholic schools still. I don't know if that's a big issue. In Sweden we have not private school per se, but funded schools that specializes in something, so you can choose to go there. Rigid learning methods. So despite reforms, rote memorization and exam heavy teaching remain common. I mean, how is this still common? I've always said to my kids, you learn by doing. You learn by doing mistakes. You learn by doing, you baking, just the memorization of it all, and sitting doing tests upon tests upon tests. it's pretty clear kind of what, you know, what kids they want for the future. You know, they want like good workers or something that just memorize the stuff. They don't want innovative people that use their imagination and sit still, that can't sit still at a bench, you know. They're not ready for it. And I think kids today, if anything, need that. They need that space to be able to learn instead of just sitting and listening to the teacher. It's just really sad. There is still a lack of innovation in teaching methods compared to countries like Finland or the Netherlands. What's so interesting about Finland is that they actually kept going with the system that Sweden has. So Sweden is going down and Finland's going up because they took on the Swedish system and they're doing really great. Same with the Netherlands. You can have an education by the end of it. You can't do that in Spain. You get your points, so you then can continue to continue to read, to whatever you want to do. There should be an opportunity for people to have an education, even if it's waitressing, hotel, cleaning. I mean, you want to be able to run your own business. Why aren't you learning that in Bachelorate here, for example? Educational inequality. This is something that I have a big issue with, since my kids are bilingual and my kids aren't the only one. Students from poorer families or rural areas still face unequal opportunities. Dropout rates are higher than the EU average. I'm not surprised. It's not. The system is so broken. It's ridiculous, especially among boys and immigrants. Mm-hmm. Mental health and pressure. I mean, this is what I work with, so I see it totally from a different point of view. I see these kids stressed. They don't look forward to the future at all. Some kids know what they want to be, so obviously it's easier for them, but there's other kids that just don't have them sort of possibilities even to continue. They just know that maybe they're taking over the family restaurant or something, and there's nothing bad in that. That's good for them also, but the mental health and pressure aspect on these kids today. Students still report stress, anxiety, and burnout. A burnout as a kid? I mean, come on. That's something that you get in your 30s, you know, and just a burnout as a kid. That's just so scary and so sad. Sometimes due to outdated teaching styles or high expectations. And that is, it says sometimes. But from what I've seen, that's exactly the case of it. And we're back to, you know, complacency. It's just, I know I'm having a little bit of a rant going on for 13 minutes now. But I get really frustrated because I like changing things in my life. I'm a person that don't believe in one way of teaching. I believe everybody learns in different ways, and that some people are good at memorizing, like I was. So it was easy for me, school. But for other people, they have to do it. They have to do it by learning by doing, and we have to accept that. And what was the other point that I was getting to? Since I got 2 kids now, and also I like traveling. I'm in Sweden. I'm here. I'm there. This is just I don't feel like I belong to one country. I want all countries to do well. I also don't believe in you know, erasing lines or anything and becoming one big happy nation. I don't believe that either, because Spain has so many good traits. They're really friendly people if you know them. A lot of people that has you know, they get invited to all of these do's with the Spanish and stuff. They love family life, and it's just so nice, because in Sweden I didn't have that. It was more segregated in that sense, that it's not as family orientated. And here in Spain we have that. We have extended family from my husband. So I'm not really sure like how to, because I don't do complacency, it's really hard to tell my kids to suck it up and go to school. Instead, I want to educate them at like how bad the school is, and if anything they want to learn outside of it, they have to do it upon themselves. If they're interested in horses, you have to do that yourself. If you're interested in anything else, you have to go and search for the information and learn about it yourself. But in schools, because I see how they struggle, the teachers here, and they can't do anything. And I keep on asking, can I do a report? Is there any way that I can, push to get a little bit of change? But they're like, oh, well, it's just always been like this. And the EU is on top of them now. So they're doing these tests that we've been doing in Sweden just to see like an average of the country. And I can imagine they'd be pretty poor. My daughter goes to extra Spanish now 3 days a week, only because I can't teach her bad Spanish. I want her to learn the proper Spanish. My oldest daughter speaks fluent Spanish, but the youngest one, because she hasn't had the same interest in the same thing as the older, she's kind of missed out on that Spanish community feeling. And I still have to respect her for what I want to encourage her to do stuff. I don't want to have to force her. I just don't believe in that sort of teaching. And she is doing really great with the extra teacher. It's just, like I said to the school, she's with them 5 hours a day. It's just shocking. What is she even... I mean, I know she's doing stuff there, but she's obviously struggling to understand when they're up on the board just writing everything down, and she just got to write it down and she doesn't understand it. Luckily now she can go up and say, I didn't understand that, and they can explain afterwards. But anyway, this became into a really long rant, but that's something that I am really concerned about, my kids' mental health in this situation, since the schools are just, the system is so poorly. Definitely nothing to do with, I haven't come across a lot of bad teachers here, luckily. I mean, because bad teachers are everywhere, it's not just, but it's a system. If they can't change it from the inside, and me as a parent can't even lift it, I know I'm doing this in English because it's the best way I can explain myself. My Spanish isn't good enough yet. It will just look stupid if I try to get this information out in Spanish. It wouldn't even be taken seriously. And I think I'm just mostly doing this for myself, because it's, even though I don't regret moving to Spain, because it's such a nice country with nice weather, we have lovely neighbors, it's multicultural. For sure, there's Argentinians, Peruvians, I can count loads of South Americans, there's Moroccans, there's tons of people down here, Swedes, Germans, everything, where I live, which I like. And of course, learning the language should be number one, but it's everything else around it and how they teach the kids. It's just putting so much stress on them. It's hard as a mother to see that when I work with mental health, and because I'm a mom, I'm too close, so I need other adults around. I mean, we have to help each other with our kids. We even do that with our friends' kids, and the people that we trust. We wouldn't let our kids go to somebody that we didn't trust and we didn't think had a good effect on them, So anyway, complacency, this is what this video will be called, because I can't do complacency, never never have been. I like change. I like to work things for the better. We do that in our marriage, we do that with the kids. If something doesn't work, you change it. Anyway, yours sincerely, Ulrika.